Hello, everyone, and welcome to my 1,000 subscribers special episode. Wow, 1,000 subscribers. That is just absolutely bonkers and insane, and thank you. Like, wow. Also, voice reveal, except it's not actually a voice reveal because it's not even the first time my actual voice has been on this channel, but it's the first one since you guys have all tuned in. So, yeah, this is what I sound like. Sorry, I'm not actually Kasane Teto, unfortunately. But yeah, I promised you guys a Q&A, and you guys had some Qs, so I'm going to provide some answers. First up today, we've got a list of questions from Elijah26, who I'm really actually glad that this question got asked. Their first question was, what is the inspiration behind the name Delicious Morsels? And, well, it's really as simple as I randomly was changing my Steam name one day, like, God, this is like 2014, a long time ago. And I just randomly the phrase delicious morsels pops in my head. So I'm like, okay, well, this will be funny. So I changed my Steam name to Delicious Morsels, and we were playing, some friends of mine and I were playing the latest Call of Duty one day together. It's like Advanced Warfare, I think was the one that you remember Advanced Warfare? The one where they were trying to be Titanfall? Yeah, that one. We were playing that one at a friend's house at a LAN party, and I changed my name to Delicious Morsels, and someone in the multiplayer lobby called it out and said, "Ha, that's a funny name." And then I was just like, well, now I have validation, so I guess I'll just stick with this. And then fast forward to 2022, and I was doing a little bit of a just overall rebrand of all of my online persona, and decided to consolidate everything under the name Delicious Morsels. And that's just kind of how that came to be. Lo and behold, I didn't realize until years after making the name that it was actually a subconscious reference to the game Final Fantasy VI. And in that game, if you're unfamiliar, there is a recurring boss enemy named Ultros, and he is a purple octopus, and he is hilarious. And there is one line in specifically the North American original Super Nintendo release, which was actually titled Final Fantasy III, where he refers to one of the characters in your party as a delicious morsel. And that just stuck in the back of my brain for years, and then it became my name, and now it's my entire online persona. So that is the origin of the name Delicious Morsels. Like I said, thank you for asking that. Like I was really, really glad that somebody asked that so I could actually answer that here. So that was great. So next question from Elijah is favorite music genre. It's kind of been a lot of fluctuation lately. It's kind of I've kind of always bounced between like rock and metal being my favorites. Major metalhead. I learned how to play guitar by learning Metallica songs, so always really been big into metal. But lately, and especially what kind of led me into Vocaloid in general, I've been getting really into J-pop and stuff like Ado, Yorushika, Zutamayo, and artists like that and stuff. And then that eventually led me into Vocaloid, just because like so much of Otto's music is just Vocaloid music with an amazing singer. So I guess like J-pop, rock, and metal would be my favorite music genres. Next question, will you keep making rock, alt, and grunge originals and covers? Yes. For the short answer. Absolutely, like, especially now that I'm actively writing more and more music again, like, I'm coming to discover that specific flavors of rock music are kind of my bread and butter. Lots of alternative rock influences and stuff just from bands that I listened to growing up and all that. So yes, you'll absolutely hear a lot more of that. On the cover side, I'm still gonna stay a little bit lighter on the cover side. There will be more covers later, but I'm really trying to focus on getting original music out there for you to enjoy this year. So that's my main priority. But yes, there will be lots of rock, alt, and grunge, and then some for sure. Next question. After finishing American Idiot, do you think you'll do any more full cover albums? I assume you might make an original album too in the future. And American Idiot is kind of a special case where everything just kind of like all the stars aligned for that. I was able to find guitar tabs for all of the songs on the album that also included the vocal melodies. So that made everything a lot easier for that album specifically, because I didn't have to try and like guess out vocal melodies and everything by ear. They were all, I had MIDI and everything ready to go for all of those. Actually, like, I do still really want to go through and break down my process of covering the songs from that album. So if that's something that you guys want and are interested in, then I'll definitely make a video of that in the future. Maybe once the album is done, I can go through and just pick out 2 or 3 of the songs from the album and explain my process and how I covered them all and stuff. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments down below. And as far as original album goes, yes, absolutely. I have a album concept in mind that I'm just kind of gradually accumulating songs for. It's kind of like not every song I write and release original is gonna go for that album, but just I'm picking and choosing songs that fit the theme that I have in mind for the album and kind of setting those aside for it. So yes, there will be an original album, hopefully next year. I wanted to have something close this year, but I'm just kind of going with the flow right now, and not every song I write is fitting the album so far, so. But there will be an original album in the future, absolutely. Next question, favorite games right now? Well, my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy X. It's just an absolutely beautiful game. I've just finished a playthrough of it recently for celebrating the 25th anniversary of the game, because it's turning 25 this year, which is wild to me. But yes, so my absolute favorite game, Final Fantasy X. Next favorite game, Final Fantasy XIV. It's great. Hey, did you hear it has a free trial? I'm not going to do the whole spiel here. But anyway, and lately I have also been playing Trails in the Sky Remake, which is also fantastic. I'm a big RPG nerd, if you haven't guessed by the RPG-inspired name. I love RPGs. So, yeah. Next question. Top 3 voice banks to use or listen to. Well, right off the bat, Tedo and Gumi. Those are my absolute favorite voice banks. I love using them. I love listening to them. I really do enjoy listening to Miku as well. And I'm getting better at using her. Vocaloid's a little bit complicated compared to Synthesizer V when it comes to the tuning side and programming all the vocals and stuff, but I'm learning and really enjoying the process of doing that. So yeah, I would say Tedo, Gumi, Miku. I also really like Yiji, if that's how you pronounce her name. Not entirely sure, but God, yeah, there you go. And an additional note, Elijah adds, I personally love the Yiji Nirvana cover you did and would love to hear more Yiji in that style, as well as Tedo too, but I think Yiji fits the sound of that song extremely well. Yes, that is why I made that cover, because like Yiji just screams grunge to me. So I'm really glad you enjoyed that. Thank you so much, Elijah, for all of your questions. And yes, I definitely want to actually write some original grungy stuff using Yiji in the future as well, because yeah, she fits that style so well and she's so fun to use. Next question comes from Embium, who writes, want to get married? I'm actually happily engaged as of 2 days before the American Idiot video dropped last year. So I'm unfortunately going to have to decline that. But thank you for your question. Next question comes from Witherscalcraft. I think I pronounced that right. They ask, what's your favorite song? And it doesn't have to be Vocaloid. I honestly can't say anymore. I love so many songs. Like, it's really, really hard to narrow it down to just one. But, like, just one song. Like, I'll give you a couple songs that I love coming back to. One of them is Wildcard by Kira. That is my absolute favorite Tedo song by far. I love the way she sounds in that song, and just a great song. Kira is one of my favorite period. Which is crazy because like he's more of like a K-pop style and I am a rock producer, but you know, you like what you like. It doesn't have to be the same genre you produce. And another song that I really love coming back to all the time is the song Wonder by Audio. And that is one of my favorite Miku songs. It was one of my top played songs on YouTube Music last year. It's like, I think it was number 3. And I just absolutely, absolutely love that song. It's a beautiful song. Highly recommend going and checking it out if you haven't heard it, because it's wonderful. My next question comes from Hyacinthus SPP. I'm sorry if I messed up that pronunciation. What's your top 5 dinosaurs and why? God, I haven't thought about dinosaurs in so long, especially not like specific names of dinosaurs. I'm going to go with, because I grew up with these movies, whatever the dinosaurs in the main cast of The Land Before Time. That's my answer. So there's like long neck, Triceratops, God. It's been so long since I've watched those movies too. But yes, I'm going to go with the cast of The Land Before Time. Those are my favorite dinosaurs. Okay, let's see here. Next question comes from the Spider42B, who writes, what's an inspiration for you when it comes to music? Oh, really? That's a really hard question to answer, actually, surprisingly. Like, it's really hard to say. Like, just music in general really inspires me, even if it's like I was just saying with Kira being one of my favorite producers, even though I don't produce that style. It's just like music in general just really inspires me. If I hear a song that I really like, even if it's not a style I make, it gets me wanting to make something. So I'll just sit down and pick up a guitar and just start noodling around and stuff. Sometimes I'll just open up a DAW and start playing with MIDI and stuff and seeing if I like something that I make with virtual instruments and stuff. But I've just always got some kind of music bouncing around in my head. So it's really, really easy for me to just pick out inspiration from any form of music, honestly. If that makes sense. I got from Brooke0378 asked also, what's your favorite song? I answered that a couple questions ago, but thank you for your write-in, of course. Next question comes from Temi V, who writes, who's your favorite Vocaloid or Sid? That was another one that I answered previously. Teto and Gumi are my absolute favorites, and then Miku, Yuji, God, I love Havoc and Solaria. Solaria was kind of what introduced me to modern vocal synths. I saw the video for the song Erode, which was one of her demo songs by, I believe it was Unit Zero was the producer for that one, and just completely blew me away. And from the instant I heard that, Solaria was one of my favorite vocal synths and turned me on to modern V-synths in general, which led me to finding Teto, and just here I am because I heard a song with Solaria in it. And she was just kind of the voice I've heard in my head for a long time with a specific style of music, which was, go figure, the style that Erode happened to be in, kind of like a symphonic metal style. So, yes. And another question from Temi, are you going to do more Final Fantasy songs? Yes. I mentioned before that Final Fantasy X's 25th anniversary is this year, and I really want to try and do something to celebrate that. I'd like to write an original song based on the game, but I don't know if I'll have time, so I'll probably just end up doing another cover. But yes, there will be more Final Fantasy songs, absolutely. I also want to do more Final Fantasy 14 songs because there's so many. But yes, absolutely more Final Fantasy songs in the future. Next question comes from Wastelander. Favorite food? Chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets smothered in honey like I'm 7 years old, because it's just freaking delicious. I love chicken nuggets. All right. Next group of questions comes from ArchXseed. First question, in which continent do you live? I live in the United States, which is not a continent. So I guess North America. I'm from the United States. Next question, your PC specs. God. It's a Ryzen 9 5900X for the CPU. I got a MSI RTX 3070. There we go. For my GPU, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I got a 1,000-watt power supply if you care about power supply stuff, and a lot of hard drives, like a lot. because, well, when you make music, you need a lot of storage space, especially when you're also making the videos. It takes up a lot of space. So I'm like constantly putting more hard drives in this thing. Next question, favorite Vocaloid producer. So I kind of alluded that Kira is one of my favorite Vocaloid producers earlier. So he's one for sure. I also really enjoy Yunosuke and Jamie Page, Monochromanus. God, there's so many. There's so many. I can't list them all. But yes. So there's a few. I know you only asked for one, but there's a few. I'll give you a few. Now the really hard question. Thanks, ArchXC. Pips or Fi? Why are you making me do this? Why? Okay. So I love both of their music equally because they're just so good, and they were both a couple of the Teto producers that I discovered first when I was like really getting into Vocaloid last year. So they're both like, I love their music equally. But if I have to pick one, and this is absolutely no shade to the other whatsoever, but if I have to pick one, Fi is the one that I've gotten to know more on a personal level. So just by that, I have to go with Fi because we've gotten to be pretty decent friends, I'd say, over the last year. And I guess that just kind of gives Fi the edge by default. But again, like, no shade to Pips. I love his music. Like, freaking talented producer. They both are. They're amazingly talented. And I love it every time their new songs come out and getting to listen to new stuff from them. So, yeah. Why would you make me do that? Anyway, one more question from ArchXC. What's your job? So I work in an automotive body shop. I assist the painter in prepping cars for paint. At times, I also paint cars myself. It's pretty cool. I've kind of always wanted to do that. I've worked in automotive detail for a long time and kind of wanted to move up into painting and stuff because I've always enjoyed just hobby painting and stuff like that. So found an opportunity a few years ago to move into a body shop position, and I took it, and I've been there since. Anyway, thanks for your questions, ArchXC. Now, next question comes from Aaron Dakilla. What are your thoughts on how President Kennedy handled the Cuban Missile Crisis? I wasn't alive for that. I'm old, but I'm not that old. And my history's a bit rough, so sorry to take the cop-out answer, Aaron, but no comments. Thank you for your question, though, dude. Oh, man. Next question comes from My Dad's Backlog, who writes, what got you into wanting to make these videos and songs in the first place? It's always interesting to hear what got people into their creative endeavors in the first place. So, I mean, I've been on YouTube for a long time. This channel in particular is only a few years old, but my original YouTube channel, I made it all the way back in 2007. It was my junior or senior year of high school, one of the two. I forget. It was a long time ago, but and I've just kind of been doing YouTube stuff off and on a lot in the years since. Like, I've never really like dialed in and made it my thing before this channel, because nothing ever really stuck. So I just kind of would do it for a little while and move on to something else for a while. But I've just always loved making stuff. Like before the Vocaloid stuff, I was recording rock and metal covers of video game songs, which was to tie into a podcast that I was doing with friends at the time, which we just recorded our final episode of back in January. So that way, I mean, life was kind of getting to all of us at the point, so we decided it was time to wind it down. Like, one of my friends, he's got 2 kids now. I mean, I am a Vocaloid producer now, so it was just life was moving us in another direction. But yeah, I've just always enjoyed making stuff, and even when I'm not making stuff, I'm always thinking about making stuff, if that makes sense. And just music in general has always been my biggest creative passion. Like, I've played the guitar since I was 17. I started like noodling around with the thought of playing guitar even earlier than that, because a friend of mine and my brother's had a cheap Stratocaster that we used to mess around with all the time. So, like, I've just always loved the guitar. I've loved music. I've loved making stuff. So, yeah, it's just, it's been an absolute pleasure now more than ever to make stuff and be able to interact with all of you through it. Like this has been a dream come true. Like seriously, like I know I talk a lot about it in my posts all the time, like my novel size posts on YouTube. But like truly, it's been amazing this last year. Finally, like actually really being able to interact with all of you and share my stuff that I make with you and see how you enjoy it and all that. So seriously, thank you. We got one last question. It comes from Nakuden, who writes, "What are your favorite pizza toppings?" And I'm not just asking because I just had pizza. Well, the funny thing about that is I'm very plain when it comes to pizza. I just like cheese. That's it. I mean, I like other things too. Like I like pepperoni, green pepper, stuff like that. I think pineapple does go on pizza. I enjoy like ham and pineapple pizza. But whenever someone asks me what kind of pizza I want, my answer is always just cheese. Just give me it plain and simple. That's all I want. Oh, man. But thank you, everyone, for writing in all these questions, giving me the opportunity to answer them for you. And now, I know that I promised some previews of upcoming stuff for the end of this video, but I just realized that this is getting really, really long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a separate preview late video to come out after this one, probably release a week or so after this video comes out. And I'll give you guys some sneak peeks into some of the new original stuff that I've been working on. So sorry, I like to talk. I'm sorry. I made a podcast for like 4 years because I like to talk. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching, listening to me ramble and answer questions for this long. And once again, seriously, thank you so much for all of your support over this last year. Like 1,000 subscribers. Like I said, I've been on YouTube for a very long time in varying capacities. I never imagined I'd see the day when I hit 1,000 subscribers on a channel at all. And it's been such a pleasure to be able to interact with all of you. And yeah, and thank you so much for tuning into this. And I will see you next video. Bye now.